Part 3 and final of this module 2, understanding our nature. It's time to talk about where we stand in the universe. This is a crash course on the Great Awakening, and perhaps this part is going to be the most important one because it's not only going to give us understanding or information about it, but also the most important part that I've talked about already in the past videos of the inner work that we need to do. And we're going to get into that. But remember that our awakening is multifaceted. We have many things that we're awakening to. But the most important one, and one that a lot of people seem to miss the point, is awakening the self, awakening who we are. And this has a lot of reasons why we need to find it, because it's going to give us that harmony, that peace of mind, and that mentality that is going to give us the best potential to serve others and to be who we came to be here. So I need to start this part where we stand in the universe by knowing that this is the most important step. This is the foundation of the work that we came here to do. And actually our reason for the whole existence here is to know the self and also to find all those things that are natural. Like I said, there's a blueprint that your higher self created to manifest itself in this reality. And we have lost that blueprint, or we have lost that design because we have been tainted and manipulated and deceived into believing that we're something different than what we truly are. And that has to do with the division that I talked about already, that they made between the physical and the metaphysical, creating a lot of confusion into understanding who we truly are. Where is our origin? Where do we come from? And who we are in general. So again, I'm making a big emphasis here because I think this is the one that pays the most. Understanding, learning, education, traveling, knowing, meeting people, etc. It does give you a lot, but nothing like doing your inner work and really confronting who you are. The reason is that it's very scary. It's very scary because it's really hard to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am not who I think I am. There's nothing more scary than that, because the question follows then, who am I? And am I going to find something that is good or that is bad? Am I going to find something? Am I being something that I'm not supposed to be and that I have been doing harm and so on? There's a lot of self-judgment that comes into this, and that's why a lot of people hide from this type of work, which is called shadow work, and we go through the dark night of the soul and so on. And this is how we just process experiences. This is going to lead me into why and where we stand in the universe in this regard. But the thing is that we decide the speed at which we process these experiences, and they all are very rewarding. Don't think that this is like some sort of punishment or purgatory where we're trying to just be guilty of all the things that we were in the past, and we're going to lower our lifestyle or quality of life and so on. It doesn't work that way. The more you do this work, the more liberated you are, and the more you have room with what we call in plant medicine integration of those things that you want to be and you want to become and then you want to do, and that you want the world to be. You actually become that. So this is the big reward of doing the inner work. Now, where we stand in the universe is very important right now, because where we stand actually in the universe is the transition that I've talked about between third density and fourth density. This means that our third density planet is ceasing the habitability for third density beings, also known as humans, for the near future. And these are in going back into the topic, this means that our last incarnations are actually now. This can be your last incarnation. You may have another opportunity to come back to Earth. I'm not sure if you want to do that. Some people may, some people may not. But the point is that there's only one moment, and it's now. Now is where you process all these things. So you can regulate the speed at which you go through these experiences. You can do it, like I said in the last video, through communication with your higher self and other angel guardians, your ancestors, those who are helping you in this process, who are aiding you. You can work with them to bring you those experiences that you need to process here to do this. Now, people have said that because we are at this point in the processing of our experiences, that all our past lives, karma, and so on, it's coming on to haunt us. The reality is that no matter what kind of experience you have, whether it be past karma or a catalyst that's being presented to you, or simply experiences that are happening to you so you can test yourself in certain things. I mean, there's a plethora of things we can discuss here and what it is to have inner work. But just as a brief thing, remember, this is just part of the Great Awakening and things that we need to know. If you resonate with this, by all means, go further and keep investigating and researching, because this is where you're going to get the most buck out of your bang out of your buck. So you want to do this, and this is the important part. But this is important to have in mind that this is our last incarnation here, and in the terms of karma, anything that comes to you, you just need to accept it as a loving experience that happened to you. And I know this can get very confrontational at some points, because you need to accept certain things. This doesn't mean that you have to accept everything that happens to you, but again, that's not the purpose of the video. We're just processing all this stuff. We're getting into the point where all the things it's very hectic right now on Earth, and you're seeing other people process their karma as well. Again, I'm very tempted to get into the depths of this, but I'm not going to do it. The point is that at this point, you are the one regulating how much of these experiences happen to you, and it's all because of resistance. If you have the free will, of course, to resist the experiences that are happening to you. So say you're into, typical example, an abusive relationship, and you know you have to overcome this. You have to go beyond, transcend actually is the right word, this experience, not overcome, but transcend out of this experience. Then you're going to find out that if you put resistance to it, you're going to be continuously thrown into this loop of an abusive relationship. It doesn't have to be a partner or a romantic relationship. It can be an abusive relationship at work. It could be an abusive relationship with your neighbor. It could be an abusive relationship between family. I mean, there are all kinds of abusive relationships that we all find ourselves in cycles. So that's just a simple example. You resisting to that is only allowing you to process more of that experience and eventually say, I don't need it, or I need it, or this is how I transcend out of that. So you regulate that, and sometimes it can be very tiring for people to do this continuously and ask for the next and ask for the next experience and ask and ask and ask, because things are just going to keep flowing really fast, and sometimes we don't have the capability. So just something to keep in mind. Very, very important. Inner work is where we stand right now. We're at that point where the more we get out of this experience, the more we can actually polarize towards whatever possibly positive, I'm sure, that you want to be, but you're getting that polarization really fast. And the last thing to say is that, as you can see, this catharsis, this global catharsis that everybody's going through, it's a huge opportunity. In normal terms, this planet, or this density as it is, has the potential of doing 100 times or more the work that we can in 4th density or 5th density and beyond, to polarize towards any side that you want, positive or negative. But keep it on the positive. You want to use the huge catharsis that is going right now on Earth. All this confusion, all these hectic behaviors, all these confrontations and conflicts and divisions, and people going around crazy, believing one thing or not believing, and whatever it may be the case. This is the moment for you to ask for those experiences, and they will come to you, and you will only need to process them with love, understanding, and self-respect. It's very important to keep that word in mind. Self-respect is key for you to have your own place in this environment. Remember, you're a co-creator. You're very powerful. If you remember from part 1 of this module, we talked about that. You deserve self-respect. And that means that you don't throw yourself at every single situation that is out there that can test you and can have you basically reduced to smithereens sometimes. So again, I want to finish that. Very important to have that block in mind when it comes to where we stand right now in this space-time continuum that we have right now. The next thing is choice. Choice is what we do with our experiences. There is a point in which we are going to decide if it's something for myself or if it's something for others. And there's nothing wrong with keeping things for yourself. There's a big distinction here when it comes to inner work, is to know that doing things for yourself is not a bad thing. Having things, that's not feeding the ego. You want to take care of yourself. I mean, eating good is not a selfish thing. Exercising is not a selfish thing. It's not an egotistical thing. It can be taken that way, of course, if you're taking food, for yourself and not sharing it when there is an opportunity to share, or to exercising just for having egotistical representation of yourself, or whatever distortion that might be in society that introduced that in your mind. Of course, there are ways to polarize towards the negative there and being selfish. But the point is that you make a decision on anything, and it could be positive or it could be negative. So choice is very important, because all the experiences, all your thoughts, all your state of being is going to go towards one or the other. Unfortunately, the state of this society is that a lot of people are going through what is called the sinkhole of indifference, which is they're not very positive and they're not very negative. So they're almost in between, and they're just undecided. They're just like the people who haven't decided what to do with the experiences, and they're just going through the motions of this illusion, being entertained, being distracted, and just not paying attention to their own call and what they want to do. So this is crucial to have in mind, that your decisions are actually what are polarizing you in one way or the other. So very, very important to keep that in mind, because again, that's just the purpose of this third density. Third density is called, just like we said in fourth density in the last video, fourth density we talk about love and understanding. That's just the lessons that are taught there. And in fifth density we talk about light and wisdom. In third density it's called the choice. All you come here to do is to choose between one or the other. So that's something key to keep in mind. The last thing I have is that we are at an energetic point in the solar system. This means that we're being energized by the solar system's environment, the galaxy itself. We are crossing a boundary of the galaxy, which is a geometrical boundary between all the ley lines that exist in our galaxy, and that's creating a potentiation of the experiences that we're having also for this purpose. There's only one reason why we're here, and again, is to polarize towards one end or the other. So these things are the most important to keep in mind. That's where we stand in the universe. This whole process that we're going through has been talked about in the past by our ancient civilizations, our ancient cultures, and all the ascension mystery teachings that we have from the past. These are the times, these are the end times that they're talking about, not the cataclysm. I think it's important because we talked about what the veil is in our illusion. Veil, actually apocalypse means the ending of the veil, removing of the veil, the unveiling. Basically, we're taking away the veil, and all of that is coming to us for us to polarize. And this leads me to module 3, where we're going to talk about all this stuff. It's going to be the planet's ascension. We're going to talk about ancient prophecies and the science of ascension and other things that are going to lead us into the final part of this Great Awakening crash course that I created just to have an idea in blocks of all those things that people are talking about, that we're waking up to, that are being presented in our reality, from political to ufology to spirituality to societal structures to tribal understandings to our ascension mysteries and so on. There's a lot of awakening because, like we explained in Module 1, we have been veiled beyond the veil. We have been distracted to our true reality, and now we're just discovering it. And it's almost like coming out of Plato's cave. So that is the most important part of this whole Great Awakening course, is just finding that inner work that we all need to do and to transcend, to be that person that we came here to be. With that, I leave you. Thank you so much for watching Module 2, and we'll see you in Module 3.